So, what is your opinion on dating outside of your culture or marriage, generally?
Alright, I'll start. I said that, well, to be honest, I didn't really grow up interested in guys, but I always said that if I was always gonna, not if,
Wait,
when.
wait, hold on.
I always said that how, obviously, there's no other mixes in my country, in my house. Everyone's Ethiopian, just either Oromo or Amara. So I was always like, I'm gonna follow that same path. I'm either gonna marry someone who's either Oromo or either Amara, just because I was like, everything is easier. You guys have the same background, upbringing, culture, all that kind of stuff, so it makes it a lot easier. But obviously, life gets in the way, and that doesn't always happen. You gotta actually find an Ethiopian. I was just like, I don't know. I think I based it so much more on the fact that I was more focused on making sure that the person has the same background and culture and all that kind of aspects to me, rather than the actual characteristics of a person. Yeah, all that kind of attributes, and then didn't quite work out that way.
I would say I'm open to dating outside of my culture, but for me personally, I feel like when it comes to marriage, I would want to marry someone who's either.
But how does that make sense?
But then what's the point of dating then?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Obviously, if it, like I said, I would prefer to marry Habesha. If I'm dating someone that's not Habesha, then I do end up wanting to marry them, then it is what it is. Like,
okay. That's true, because like the way London is so like diverse. Do you know like the amount of cultures that are in this our city right now?
Yeah.
Like obviously myself, I would like an Habesha as well, but like I can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, I think it's, like this is more of an issue or even a problem for like the older generation, because they'll want you to stick with the culture, etc., etc. But yeah, to be fair, that's my take on it.
I mean, me personally, I like to think I'm very open. So I would, if I like you as a person, then that would be the main purpose. I'll be dating you and so on and so forth. But again, like we talked about, being Habesha and being from a culture where your mom and dad would want you to also date someone in the culture. Wait, do we know like dating in Ethiopia? You guys think?
Do we have dating?
Do we have dating? Okay, cool. You know what? I'll tell you my story. So, okay, a little background. I'm a deacon at church. So, thank you. No, what that literally just means is like, for the longest time of my whole life, it's like no dating. Now, get married. So I'm like, so who am I supposed to get married to? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if you actually date just for dating's sake. It's more or less like you can get married to that person and all that kind of stuff. So it's always a bit tricky to me, like, to understand. Can I date a Habesha person and it's okay, and then if you want to break up, can you break up with that person, or is it sort of like an assumption that I'm supposed to date that person and then get married to that person? I don't know, I find it a bit tricky.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just easier when you have the same culture, like raising your kids, etc. Even the wedding, like your family's getting along, and the family's gonna get along more when it's like the same culture and stuff. So they're gonna like be able to just like you'll be able to enjoy it more. I feel like when you're like an American who's from a different culture, like it's harder to enjoy like the union of your family. Like it's much harder.
And you'd want like your significant other to talk to your parents in your language, like talk to your aunties and uncles and grandparents and stuff like that. And when you kind of have that, because obviously I know my grandparents don't speak English, and then if I marry someone that doesn't speak Amharic, then that's going to be a bit like, like you'd want them to have that relationship.
But do you marry somebody for yourself or for your family?
No, but it would make yourself, I think it adds to your life.
But then again, they could be a different tribe, and then even then, there's a way to communicate with your family.
Yeah, but they know the scope. They know
most time they can speak Amharic.
But this person might not be able to. Like,
you can understand.
Well, if you meet that one person that you find like you can get really along with, and they're a person that suits you.
Yeah, but
But
I
then
always
your
think that-
family just like
Yeah.
I think opposes it completely.
Mm.
Are you gonna be there like, oh okay, actually he's not Habesha anyway, so forget him?
It's not like that, but I think my family accepting him would make me happier as well. Like, as in, it still does have, as much as we say, like, love is love, whatever, it still has, like...
You want your parents to accept you also,
Yeah.
because it make your life easier.
Exactly, and that will make you happy
Yeah.
as well. And
But
it just
yeah.
make everything easy going.
Because if they say like, okay, we don't want you to date him anymore, or not, you know, you're not getting married to him, and you do love the person,
You're like, you've invested, you've got memories.
emotional and all that kind of stuff. So then, what do you do? Is the
That's too
question.
complex.
It's the
I think maybe it's just a case of where they're so used to their particular culture, it's hard for them to, I don't know, when you're not used to something, you have to, like, I don't know, how do I word it?
Adapt.
Yeah, so the way they've had to adapt, they've left Ethiopia, they've come here, they've adapted to the way the British society culture works to an extent. So it's kind of like, okay, cool, so where they've chosen to raise us in a very diverse city, what's the likelihood of us? I don't know, I think for me personally, when I've grown up with, like people that I've grown up with, I don't see them as, oh, that's a significant other. I see them as, that's my brother, that's my cousin. So for me to now go and change that mindset and now start looking at other people like, oh, that's a potential, oh, that's a potential. I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
as soon as
yeah.
I meet you,
Oh my
I
God.
see you as, oh, your family type of thing. And I think just because that's the way our culture is, we're really loving,
And close.
yeah.
And our families are so big as well. Like,
Yeah.
So you
That's
don't
what
even know
you
who's your
just-
cousin,
yeah,
who's your
yeah,
second
yeah.
cousin, like that person is that one. Everyone is connected
Everyone's
somehow.
connected. Everyone's
Like it's
cousin.
such a small community, so it's kind of like, I don't know, you meet someone, it's kind of, oh, that person knows that person, and you're connected to that person through that way.
Yeah, but like, the problem is, it's like, so you grow up, you know, as a kid, and you'll hang around with these people, and you kind of feel like we're a family. You grow up older, and then it's supposed to be okay to date now, and it just sort of really messes people up. I feel.
But that shouldn't always it shouldn't always be a barrier. It depends how you're connected to them. Obviously, if there's no blood relation there, then it's not like.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But like,
And especially if it goes wrong afterwards, it's like a whole lifetime
Exactly.
friendship, family.
and then
it's all
families,
broken.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's always just messy.
Yeah, there's not enough of us basically. That's all.
I mean, we are the second biggest population in Africa.
That's true.
Yeah, but not
yeah.
here, like in London.
Go Ethiopia.
Yeah.
In terms of what your family would want you to have, it's always going to be different to what you'd want.
Mm.
So if I'm going to do certain things, I've realised in life, I have to do them for me. Obviously taking into consideration people's opinions and thoughts, you know, it is wisdom on your part as well. Because if you did something and you're like, oh, it would only be regret. But if you do something that you feel is right for you, then I don't see the problem with dating somebody outside of the community or culture.
I feel like if you talk to your families about it, because not all Habesha like parents are the same as well. Like some might be cool with you dating outside of
That's
your
rare.
culture and stuff.
Very rare.
Yeah, but like true that like my parents, well, they're still a bit, you know. But like I've spoken to them so many times. Not for me, just in general. Like you know, we are in London. Like do you know what I mean? There's not really a lot of Ethiopians. There's not even or Eritreans in London. If you think, I mean there are, but there are, but it's just I don't know. Like
It's not easy to find.
I don't know. There's also
Options.
these-
Yeah, that's really
yeah, that's what I
important.
mean.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's
it's-
really important.
But I feel like our parents say they don't mind, but really and truly they do want you
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But then there's always
They
gonna
just say they
be
don't mind, but-
like you don't marry the right kind of Ethiopian. Like if you married a certain,
Yeah.
like if your parents are still kind of like
That happens.
There's a
tribal.
checklist basically.
There's a
There's
whole
a
like
checklist.
yeah. So you
There's a
marry
checklist.
Ethiopian, maybe they might not be from the right part of Ethiopia or part like
Yeah.
religion or whatever.
Mhm.
And there's always like barriers.
Yeah.
You know, so you're never gonna find like the perfect.
Would you all date like an Ethiopian, Eritrean person?
Yeah, Ethiopia.
If you found them, would you? That's your only option, or
What now? Or
Yeah, now,
in the
yeah.
future?
Well,
whichever?
we're not dating now. We're too young, guys.
Our parents are watching this. And it's on.
In the future.
Your parent and be like only marrying Habesha for your kids. If that makes sense.
On the future.
Well, I'm not thinking that far ahead, but still got to think about myself. Then I'll think about my kids.
But I feel like I would want them to feel that they can be open and love a person for for the person and who he is or who she is, instead of me putting this limitation on them and saying, oh, this culture, oh, this is right, this is wrong, and they sort of have to find their own way.
Whatever makes them happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Does race matter?
Yeah.
It
Matters, but it doesn't mean it's the final factor.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not the deciding factor of
Exactly.
whether you're gonna
Exactly.
be with this person.
Thank you for watching. See you in our next video.
Bang.
Like how the good subscribe.
That's another.